Hi guys, welcome back to Maxie's Kitchen. So today we're going to be making a sandwich loaf and we're going to use this bread to make two simple recipes. The first one would be a BLT and the second one would be a cheese and ham toastie. So stay tuned and don't go anywhere. So we'll start with a sandwich loaf. I really like this bread because the slices hold very well when they are toasted, and that's why it's perfect for sandwiches. Here's a list of the ingredients you need to make it. Now you need to make sure that you're using lukewarm water and milk, just to make sure that your yeast is able to proof. You don't necessarily need a thermometer to check the temperature. Just make sure it's not too hot, or else when you add your yeast, it's going to die and it won't work. I forgot to show you guys what my yeast mixture was looking like once it was done proofing, but you should realize that it will double in size, and then yeah, you know it's done. So you add your dry ingredients into the mixing bowl and then add the yeast mixture in bits. Now you can use your hand to knead everything, but to be honest, I'm just very lazy and I think that's just so hard because you need to make sure that you develop enough gluten. Okay, so I did this in my mixer and it was way easier. I added in my softened butter like you guys saw, and now I have this soft and stretchy dough. So this stretchiness actually should tell you that you've developed enough gluten, and that would make your bread soft. It would give it that chewy texture and all of those good things that you see in a good bread. Now, it might take longer or shorter than an hour for your dough to actually double in size or proof, depending on the temperature that you find yourself in. So if you're somewhere that's cold, like where I am, it might take longer. But what I did was that I put the bowl inside the oven and turned on the switch, the lights in the oven. So I created that warm environment for my dough. You can do that as well if you're in a cold place. And in an hour, your dough should rise. Now, the only reason why I divided my dough into two equal parts is because my loaf tins were not very big, so the whole thing couldn't fit into one loaf tin. So I made two loaves of bread. But if you have a much bigger tin than the one I'm using, like this one, if you have a much bigger tin than this one, then you can just go ahead and roll the entire dough into a rectangle and then put it in that tin. That way you wouldn't have to make two loaves. sure that when you're covering the bread, the dough to rise, you don't use a flat surface, or else you're going to obstruct this beautiful rounded part of the loaf that will form. So don't do that. That's why I used another loaf tin that had space on top to cover it. Please also make sure that you actually preheat your oven before you put the bread in the oven to bake. I didn't say that at the start of the video because we had to wait, proof the dough for 1 hour and everything, but make sure you preheat it at least like 15 minutes before you put the bread inside to bake. This bread is done baking and looks really good, so I let it cool down for a bit and I sliced the bread up. Absolutely gorgeous. We're going to move on to the first recipe, a bacon, lettuce and tomato sandwich. So this is one of my favorites ever and we're going to make it today. Here's a list of all the ingredients you need to make this sandwich, and I used 4 slices because I made 2 sandwiches. Now you just need to place your bacon into an oven tray lined with aluminium foil or parchment paper and then make that. You can make your bacon in the pan if that's how you make it. Now you need to spread some butter on one side of all your slices. You can alternatively use mayo if you like. Now I used a very low quality type of mayo because that's what I had available at that time, and it didn't work out very well, but I know I've tried that method before and it turned out pretty good. So if you're using mayo, make sure that it's of very good quality. I would recommend Heinz. That's a very good brand. So this is the one with butter and that's the one with mayo. Now I honestly found it to be very funny. When this happened, I actually stopped what I was doing and I laughed for a very long time because it was looking very bad. It looked burnt, but then it wasn't toasted. And that's because the mayo I used was 20p. To be honest, that's very cheap. So I don't blame mayo. I actually blame that particular one that I used. So we're going to make the sandwich now. I just put some mayo on one side of a toasted slice. You want to use as much as you like. I like a lot of mayo, so I used a lot. And then we're going to put our lettuce on that mayo layer. After the lettuce, we're going to put sliced tomatoes. So bacon, lettuce, tomatoes. So lettuce and then tomatoes. Guys, one thing, please always salt and pepper your tomatoes. Always season your tomatoes. They make it nicer, trust me. So I did that, and the next thing I did was to put the bacon on. You can, to be honest, I didn't want my bacon sticking out, so I just cut each one into like 2 and then put it in the sandwich. But feel free to do what you want, however you want, but just make sure that there's tomatoes, seasoned tomatoes, bacon, lettuce. Yeah, so I put some more mayo on another slice and I closed the sandwich. So I did the same for the mayo toasted one, and to be honest, they all tasted very good. The mayo one just didn't look really good to me. But yeah, I hope you try it, and when you do, let me know how you like it. Of course, make this with your own bread using my recipe. To the second sandwich, which is a simple ham and cheese toastie. I actually love this so much. This was so good, guys. So these are the ingredients you need for that one. And I didn't use any mayo to toast any bread in this one, please. So I used only butter. So let's stick to that. So you need to get your bread, put your cheddar cheese on the bread. So that's going to be the first layer. I have this cheese in my fridge. I really don't know what kind of cheese this is. I had to use it, couldn't let it go to waste. So after the cheese layer, you would put the ham on the cheese, and then you will put a second layer of cheese on top of the ham. So what the cheese does is that it acts as a form of glue and actually holds the sandwich together when it's done toasting. So you want to put softened butter, spread some softened butter on both sides of the sandwich. Not both sides of each slice, guys. Both sides of the sandwich. So the very top and the very bottom slice. And there you have it. Everything should come together. The cheese should melt and you should have this beautiful... Guys, let's take some time out to appreciate how well my bread toasts. Have you seen how beautiful it looks? Now I used only butter and I made sure that the butter got to every edge of the bread, and we got this beautiful, beautiful result. Anyways, guys, these are just two of the millions of different kinds of sandwiches you can actually make with this bread. You can make a tuna melt with this bread. You can even go for like a vegan option. Just use some vegetables and, you know, yeah, just have fun with this bread, and let me know how you guys love it when you try it. I can't wait to see your recreations with the sandwich loaf recipe. And guys, don't forget to subscribe as usual. Please subscribe if you haven't yet. Share this video with a friend. Like and comment below. Let me know what you think about this recipe. And I'll catch you in my next video, guys. Thank you for watching. Bye.